What happens when you put Caitlin Clark on national television for the first time as an NBA analyst? Something that hasn't been seen in over 2 decades just occurred. But here's what makes this even more incredible. While Clark is shattering expectations and getting rave reviews from NBC Sports executives, the WNBA Players Association is literally destroying their own league through incompetent negotiations. The contrast couldn't be more obvious, and the numbers are so unprecedented that they're already talking about changing how they approach broadcasts. But what exactly did she accomplish that's never been done before? If you're proud of Caitlin, then comment CC Record Breaker in the comments and drop us a like.
So the numbers have shown up for Caitlin Clark's debut as an analyst on NBC, and the numbers are ridiculous, man. They ended up dropping the viewership for that game, and this is what it said, man. Sunday nights on NBC are just meant for sports. The network aired the first 2 games of its Sunday night basketball franchise last weekend, and the doubleheader delivered record-setting viewership.
Something magical happened at Madison Square Garden that night, and it wasn't just the Lakers and Knicks warming up on the court. Clark walked into NBC's NBA Basketball Night in America set alongside Reggie Miller, Carmelo Anthony, and Maria Taylor. But this wasn't your typical guest analyst spot. You could see from the first moment she sat down that something special was about to happen. The chemistry was instant and natural. Clark wasn't trying to fit into their world. She was creating her own space right there on live television. When the cameras started rolling, she looked completely comfortable sitting between 2 NBA legends who've been doing this for years. Her natural charisma came through immediately, and you could tell the production team was excited about what they were seeing.
It's a different type of buzz, and obviously when LeBron comes to town, it's probably really different, but, you know, Knicks fans are crazy, and I love it. I love people that are passionate about basketball, so it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, you kind of know them inside and out a little bit, Reggie. You've stolen their souls and their hearts with the Knicks fans. You see how he's kind of like smirking.
But listen, there's first of all, there's a new shooter from Indiana. See, I'm the 3rd best shooter in the state of Indiana now. Okay. It goes Caitlin, Tyrese, and now myself.
We'll have to get Tyrese's opinion on that. I'm not sure.
Her basketball knowledge came through in every exchange. When she broke down player movements and game strategy, you could see Miller and Anthony nodding along like they were learning something new. Clark didn't just talk about basic plays. She was diving deep into defensive schemes and offensive sets with the kind of detail that impressed veteran analysts who've seen everything. The horse segment with Jamal Crawford became the highlight everyone was talking about. Clark won 2 out of 3 rounds, hitting shots in what looked like business attire while Crawford struggled to keep up. She was draining threes from all over the court with that same confident stroke that made her famous. The crowd in the background was going crazy every time she connected.
You like to double down? Oh,
okay.
Goodness.
All right.
Okay. One leg.
Tie game.
In it.
Short.
Yeah, all right.
Shortly good.
Yeah, you're all right.
And B.
That looks good, too.
Okay. Okay, well, here comes B.
All right. All right. B, here we go.
Boom.
Ah.
All right, let's end it.
And you're
Short.
Oh!
Good job.
Great job. Way to move.
That was fun.
Her humor felt genuine, not scripted. The jokes about Peyton Pritchard and logo threes had everyone laughing, including the production crew behind the cameras. Clark even posted on Twitter later saying, "I'm going to wear stilts next time," after joking about her height difference with Miller and Anthony. That kind of self-deprecating wit showed she wasn't trying too hard to impress anyone.
Because one of the things he said was like, I'm thinking in my mind, let's keep them quiet. Have you gone into a big game with literally that on your mind, like walking into the arena?
Well, I feel fortunate enough. A lot of the arenas we go into, a lot of people are cheering for our team, which is pretty nice.
NBC executives were watching every moment unfold. This wasn't just a one-time appearance anymore. This was an audition for something much bigger. You could see the producers in the background taking notes and making calls. The energy in that studio was electric, and everyone knew they were witnessing something unprecedented.
Big night the other night when Caitlin Clark joined the pregame for NBC. We're going to see a lot more of her. Yeah, I mean, look, she's a spokesman for Xfinity, and so already part of the Comcast family. We brought her through that, overall deal, and I think she had a good time. She played horse with Jamal the other night, which I think was a fun little segment. And for everything I understand, she enjoyed being on TV with our crew and hope to do it again soon.
The poise under pressure impressed everyone in that studio. Clark handled live television like she'd been doing it for years, not like someone making their broadcast debut. She never stumbled over words or looked nervous. When technical difficulties happened or segments ran long, she rolled with everything like a seasoned professional. NBC Sports president Rick Cordella would later say Clark checked every box they hoped for, and suddenly more appearances were being discussed behind closed doors. The network executives were already planning future broadcasts with her involved. They knew they had found something special that could change how they approached basketball coverage. But the real shock was still coming when the viewership numbers started rolling in the next morning.
Rick Cordella spoke positively about Clark's debut, noting that she did a good job and handled the role with ease. He highlighted her understanding of the game and her ability to communicate clearly, two qualities that translate well from the court to the broadcast booth. Cordella also made it clear that Clark was well prepared and comfortable in the setting, something that stood out given the size of the audience and the spotlight that comes with an NBA national broadcast.
The numbers that came in the next day broke something that had never been broken before in NBA television history. When NBC executives walked into their offices that Monday morning, they were staring at viewership data that defied everything they thought they knew about basketball broadcasts. 4.5 million viewers tuned in across NBC and Telemundo for the Lakers-Knicks doubleheader, making it the most-watched Sunday regular season NBA game since 2002. That's over 2 decades of NBA broadcasts that Clark's debut just surpassed.
Record-setting viewership. Sunday night's first game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks from Madison Square Garden averaged 4.5 million viewers across NBC and Telemundo. Oh my goodness, 4.5? Making it the most watched Sunday night regular season game since 2002. Oh my goodness, excluding Christmas Day.
But here's the part that shocked everyone at NBC. The pre-game show actually pulled higher ratings than the game itself for the first time in NBA broadcasting history. Network executives were calling each other asking if the data was correct. Pre-game coverage never outdraws the actual basketball game. That just doesn't happen in sports television. People were tuning in specifically to watch Clark analyze basketball, then staying to watch the actual game because she had them hooked. NBC's internal tracking showed viewers switching channels the moment Clark appeared on screen. They weren't channel surfing anymore. They were locked in from the opening segment through the final buzzer.
Even with all that, still 4.5 million? Man, her motion is ridiculous, fam. It's ridiculous. I mean, I remember literally announcing what was going on and showing the videos of what was going on, and people were in the comment section literally telling me, look, I went for Caitlin, but I ended up staying watching the game a little bit. And I think somebody actually said that was their first NBA game that they watched this year. So
the viewership spike happened the moment Clark appeared on screen. NBC's internal data showed audience retention rates they'd never seen for pre-game coverage. Usually people tune out during analyst segments or switch channels until tip-off. Clark kept them glued to their televisions for the entire broadcast window. NBC executives were frantically pulling reports from their data teams. The demographics showed something they'd never witnessed before. Clark was pulling in viewers who normally wouldn't watch NBA games, creating a crossover audience that networks dream about. Women viewers increased by massive percentages. Young viewers who typically watch highlights on social media were watching full broadcasts. The numbers destroyed every expectation NBC had for the broadcast. They were planning for solid ratings based on the Lakers and Knicks matchup, but this was approaching championship game territory for a regular season Sunday night. Internal projections had estimated decent viewership, but nobody predicted record-breaking numbers.
Look, man, Caitlin motion is ridiculous. Anything she puts her hand on, it turns to gold. It's crazy work. It's crazy work, man. And I've never seen this for women's basketball. And this actually goes back to where the NBA was saying they needed Caitlin Clark to come over and shoot in the three-point contest, or at least have that contest against Stephen Curry, because they need her. They need her, man. Their numbers has been dwindling as well. So I can imagine they're thinking like, hey, look, we have a hot commodity. Let's get her over and let's get some viewership going for the All-Star weekend.
Executives started making calls immediately. If Clark could generate these kinds of numbers as a guest appearance, what could she do as a regular contributor? NBC Sports president Rick Cordella was already having conversations about future broadcasts. He said Clark checked every box and that the network hopes to feature her again soon. The broadcast became the highest-rated NBA game of the season, excluding opening night and Christmas games, proving Clark's drawing power extended far beyond women's basketball. She had officially crossed over into mainstream sports media in the biggest possible way. While Clark was making television history and getting praised by network executives, another story was unfolding that painted a very different picture of leadership in women's basketball.
Forget Tiger, forget Jordan. When it comes to boosting TV viewership, Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. When Tiger Woods won his first Masters, audiences jumped 63% from the year before. When Michael Jordan returned to basketball, viewership jumped 200% from a week before. When Caitlin Clark played in her second NCAA final, viewership nearly quadrupled from 2 years before. As Clark is also elevating her sport as a whole. The NBA and pro golf were already popular when Jordan and Tiger came along, but Caitlin Clark has reset the expectation for what women's basketball can draw.
While Clark was earning rave reviews and breaking records, the WNBA Players Association was busy destroying the biggest financial opportunity in league history. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Clark is out there generating millions of viewers and getting job offers from major networks, while the veteran players who run the union are fumbling negotiations that should have been slam dunks. The CBA negotiations should have been a celebration of the league's growth, but instead, they turned into what Sophie Cunningham called a complete mess. Cunningham didn't hold back when she described the whole process as a total disaster. These talks were supposed to capitalize on the massive popularity surge that Clark brought to the league, but veteran leadership managed to turn success into chaos.
Our CBA is so dumb right now that like it's heading towards lockout. So
no progress.
No.
Like just nothing.
Honestly, nothing. We get like weekly emails from the PA side of things, and it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb.
The veteran players leading these talks have spent 2 seasons trying to diminish Clark's impact, and now they're fumbling the exact financial windfall her popularity created. They criticized her fans as bandwagon jumpers. They questioned whether her success was real or just media hype. They spent months trying to convince everyone that the WNBA's growth had nothing to do with one star from Iowa. Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier are sitting at the negotiating table while simultaneously owning rival leagues like Unrivaled, creating obvious conflicts of interest that nobody wants to address. How can you negotiate in good faith for WNBA players when you're literally running competing basketball leagues? Stewart and Collier are trying to build their own empire while supposedly representing players who want to stay in the WNBA.
Sophie Cunningham said in a podcast previously, she sees the conflict of interest between Nafisa Collier, Breanna Stewart, and the WNBA. She sees the conflict of interest. So what are you doing to circumvent that conflict and actually get some of the real facts, some of the real truths that could be taking place?
These same players criticize new fans that Clark brought to the league, then act surprised when those fans turn against them during contract talks. The veteran players told Clark's supporters they weren't real basketball fans. They said newcomers needed to earn their respect. They gatekept the sport like it was some exclusive club instead of entertainment that needs viewers to survive. The union leadership keeps pushing for unrealistic revenue-sharing models, while Clark is out there actually generating the revenue they want to share. They're demanding massive salary increases based on popularity they actively tried to undermine. Clark is creating the value, but veteran players want equal credit for growth they opposed from day one.
To give away the Best WNBA Player Award.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys know now who won.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Okay.
And the winner is Caitlin Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
Fans are watching Clark succeed in every arena she enters, while veteran players can't even negotiate a contract without creating drama and division. Clark transitions seamlessly from basketball to broadcasting. She handles pressure with grace and professionalism. Meanwhile, union leaders are leaking complaints to reporters and creating unnecessary conflict. The old guard spent so much energy trying to erase Clark from the WNBA narrative that they forgot how to actually build the league's future. They were so focused on protecting their own status that they missed the biggest opportunity in women's sports history. Clark's optimism about getting a deal done stands in stark contrast to the chaos and incompetence the players' union has displayed throughout these negotiations. The jealousy and gatekeeping from veteran players is now backfiring, as Clark's success highlights exactly what they've been holding back.
Just be that Caitlin Clark is like one of the most talented women basketball players in the history of the country. She comes on, she does amazing things, and then people say people say all of a sudden I'm now interested in something I wasn't before. Look at the attendance, look at the viewership, and then they watch the games, and she's constantly being abused. She was stabbed in the eye last night
with no whistle.
100% she intentionally poked Caitlin Clark in the eye.
The contrast couldn't be clearer between Clark's professional success and the veteran player's self-destructive behavior. While Clark is hitting logo threes on national television and getting job offers from major networks, the old guard is busy sabotaging their own league's future. Clark walks into NBC studios and breaks television records. Veteran players walk into CBA meetings and break their own negotiating power. Clark's teammates like Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham, and Kelsey Mitchell are watching their star player open doors for everyone, while veteran players are slamming those same doors shut. These young Fever players see Clark succeeding on every stage she enters. They watch her bring millions of new fans to women's basketball. They witness networks fighting to book her for more appearances. Meanwhile, veteran union leaders are telling those same fans they aren't welcome.
God gave you a person, and now you're rejecting it. Y'all should be like Caesar. I appreciate you, Caitlin. Thank you. I can eat a little bit better. She got paid this. She get a signature shoe. Hey, I'm a two-time MVP. I'm a champion. The fact that there's this much animosity about the person that's feeding you, and I'm gonna say it just like she's feeding y'all.
Yes.
Doors that y'all didn't do. So to be honest, shut up. Because y'all couldn't do it, just accept it and benefit. Be happy.
The fan backlash against the players' union leadership is growing stronger every day as people see the stark difference between Clark's professionalism and the union's chaos. Social media is flooded with supporters calling out veteran players for their jealousy and incompetence. Clark brings positivity and success wherever she goes. The old guard brings drama and dysfunction to every situation they touch. Clark called the CBA negotiations one of the biggest moments in women's sports history, showing leadership and vision that the actual union leaders lack. She understands the massive opportunity these talks represent. She sees the potential for transforming women's basketball into a billion-dollar industry. Veteran players see only their own paychecks and personal grievances.
Looking forward into the future, what would you like to see happen as you come to a negotiation?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's just a big moment for the WNBA. I think all of women's sports, I think this is one of the biggest moments we've ever had. So, I feel very confident that we're going to get something done, and that's because we're in this moment because of the product we put on the floor. So we need to be able to continue to do that, and I know everybody's working really hard. There's a meeting tomorrow that's super important, and I truly do believe we're going to get something done here in the next couple of weeks. But like you said, there's a lot of boxes that we still need to check. We've added two new teams. There's going to be more players than ever, and then we have to get into free agency, then have a normal draft as well. So there's a lot of things left to do, but I really do feel confident that both sides are going to reach a deal here. So yeah.
Every opportunity Clark creates gets undermined by veteran players who think they deserve credit for popularity they actively tried to prevent. Clark builds bridges with new fans. Veterans burn those bridges down. Clark opens television deals and sponsorship opportunities. Veterans complain about not getting enough recognition for growth they opposed. The numbers don't lie. Clark is bringing in millions of viewers and dollars while the old guard argues about revenue they didn't help generate. NBC executives are tracking viewership spikes that happen the moment Clark appears on screen. They're seeing crossover audiences that veteran players failed to attract during their entire careers. The data shows exactly who deserves credit for women's basketball's recent success.
Draft slated for April 13th, but the growth of the league has been so much. I mean, can you just help us to understand the transition this league is going on right now?
I mean, it's incredible. And I remember my first WNBA game when I was a young girl. I went to the Minnesota Lynx when they had their dynasty with Maya Moore, and they were playing the Seattle Storm. And now basically any arena you go to, it's sold out. We're adding 2 teams. We're up to 14 now, and then hopefully getting to 18 in the next couple years. So, business is booming, and that's a really good thing. And we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment. The talent's getting better and better. You see it at the college level coming into the professional game too. So I feel very fortunate, and hopefully I have a long career ahead of me as well.
Well, just
NBC executives are already hinting at more appearances for Clark because she delivers results, not drama and dysfunction like the jealous veterans. Network presidents are making calls about future broadcasts featuring Clark. They're planning expanded roles and additional opportunities. Meanwhile, veteran players are making calls to complain about contract negotiations they're botching themselves. The jealous veterans are being exposed for what they really are. They're obstacles to growth rather than leaders of change, while Clark continues proving she's the undisputed face of basketball's future. Every success Clark achieves highlights what veteran players failed to accomplish despite having years of opportunities. Clark's NBC triumph represents everything the old guard failed to achieve despite having years to build the league's profile and popularity. She accomplished in one night what they couldn't do in multiple seasons.
So an average NBA regular season game gets 1.5 million viewers. When Caitlin Clark entered the mix, it not only doubled, but tripled the viewership. Just like when she got injured in the WNBA, it took away half their audience. Trust me, we've got past it. It's not because she's white. There's been a lot of white athletes that have been good at sports that don't get the coverage that Caitlin Clark gets. It's because she is different.
Clark's historic NBC debut proves she succeeds in every arena she enters, while the Players Association leadership continues to fumble the opportunities her success creates. She breaks television records and gets rave reviews from network executives. They're destroying contract negotiations that should capitalize on her popularity. The choice is clear. Support the new guard that's bringing millions of fans and dollars to women's basketball, or watch the old guard destroy the league's best chance at $1 billion future. Clark generates viewership and revenue. Veteran players generate drama and division. Clark and her Fever teammates are building something special for 2026, while the jealous veterans are busy tearing down everything she's accomplished. If you're proud of Caitlin, comment CC Record Breaker in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.